All right, so much of the reharmonization part of this arrangement really comes as a result of an observation that I made. And I want to share that observation with you because I think it's pretty cool. But first, I want to share with you a way of approaching reharmonization, a way of thinking that led to that observation, which led to that arrangement. So I'm going to start there and then move forward. So here's the observation, or excuse me, here's the way of thinking first. This is the most important part of this video as far as I'm concerned because I'm explaining an approach that can be applied to a lot of different pieces. Here goes. We've got 3 steps. Step number 1, strip a tune down to only its melody. So get rid of the chords, get rid of the bass line, just the melody by itself. Step 2, create a bass line that moves in some sort of logical way. And I'll talk more about that in just a moment. Step 3, fill in notes between the bass and the melody to create chords that you like. That's it. Now, what do I mean by moving the bass in a logical way? Well, we don't even necessarily have to think about the melody here. I'm going to create a bass line that moves, in a logical way, perhaps according to some sort of pattern. For example, I can move the bass up in whole steps. I can move the bass down in half steps. Or I might decide to do something a little bit more complex, like moving the bass up a minor third, down a half step, up a minor third, down a half step, up a minor third, down a half step, and so on. I think that using these kinds of bass lines can result in a situation where even if the harmony isn't functional in a more traditional sense, there's something about it that I would say at least a lot of people, perhaps if only on a subconscious level, are able to sort of grab onto. They can sort of ride the wave as you move forward through the music. Okay, so now let's see how that approach led to an observation, which led to an arrangement of Greensleeves. So I was playing around with Greensleeves in E flat minor, so on, and I just made this neat observation. I found that if you started with a bass line that is on the tonic, on E flat, and then you move up in half steps, even though it gets into some kind of strange sounding places, you arrive at the 5th at the point that you would have expected to arrive there. So just check this out. Isn't that cool? Then I made another observation. On the second pass, if you start again with the bass on E flat and you move down in half steps, again you wind up with the bass arriving at the 5th when you would expect it to. Right there. So neat. So you could say that was step 1 and step 2. I had just the melody, then I created a bass line that had its own sense of logic. It moves up in half steps first, and then it moves down in half steps second. Step 3 is to fill in middle notes to create chords that you like. Now I want to play this for you, but again, my main emphasis here is not necessarily what I did, because it could be done a lot of different ways. I'll show you what I came up with, what I liked. So here goes. See what you think. I actually play this a bit differently from time to time, but here is at least the version for the moment. So when I play this, I like to create a sort of a contrast between the pretty heavy complexity of the verse to a bit more sort of harmonically simple refrain. I like to kind of put it in more of a borderline popish kind of direction. I realize that is not for everyone, but I really like the sound. So something like this. So I'm coming out of the verse, and I'm might do something like this. So on.
Don't forget to download the PDF for this lesson.